Hello, this is Mark, your Madison Cork Dork. Instead of going over a particular grape, I will be discussing just what rosé is. The simplest explanation of rosé is that it is not a grape. It is a style of winemaking. There are three ways to make rosé wine: skin contact, bleeding, and blending. For the contact method, the color of a rosé is determined by the winemaker and is based on how long they keep the skins of the red grapes on the wine. A deeper color for rosé means that the grape skins were left on the juice for a longer time. The average time for the skins to be left on are from 4 to 12 hours. When the ideal color has been achieved, the wine goes from being processed as red wine and switches to being processed as a white wine. Now, the Sagny, which I'm pretty sure I did not pronounce properly, it's a French word for bleeding method, is when a winemaker desires to impart more tannin and color to red wine. Some of the pink juice from the must can be removed at an early stage in what is known as the Sagny method. The red wine remaining in the vats is intensified as a result of the bleeding because of the volume of juice in the must is reduced. And the must involved in the maceration, which is a process of making red wine, becomes more concentrated. The pink juice that is removed can be fermented and separately produced to rosé. Lastly, the one that most people would probably guess, the mixing method is simply a blend between red and white grapes. Pretty much any red grape can be made into a rosé style, and since the majority of red grapes are dry, you might have a difficult time finding a sweet rosé. The most popular sweet rosé on the market is Roscado's Rosé Dolce. It might say Rosado instead of rosé on the label, but that's just Italian word for rosé. Also, for Spanish wine, rosé is known as Rosado. It's generally believed that rosé wines have been with us since the ancient times, though not by choice, but as by necessity. Red wines are made differently than they were back then, and the majority of them would have been pinkish in color because the grapes would have been pressed rather quickly. It wasn't until the Middle Ages that rosé wines were actually something to be sought for and desired. The Bordeaux rosés were first to gain notoriety, especially in the English market. Since then, its popularity has come and gone in waves. It should be noted that the once popular sweet wine White Zinfandel is indeed a rosé. And this is why I said it's hard to find a sweet rosé, is because technically White Zinfandel is actually a rosé. This was accidentally made, a white rosé was accidentally made by Sutter Home Wines when they wanted to achieve a more bolder Zinfandel. So today, Sutter Home, it has the largest market share on White Zinfandel. I think I may have screwed up a line earlier in that paragraph. Yay for not having editing powers. Many blush wines are also made in the rosé style, one way or another as well. As the term rosé regained popularity in the United States market, shares of wines labeled blush declined from 22% of all wines consumed in 1997 to 15% in 2003. And I can tell you, working on the retail side of thing, blush is not really considered anything these days. It's always rosé increasing in sales. The most popular rosés come from the Provence region of France. So here is a good old-fashioned map of France. If I can't get it, there we go. And right down here the light purple is Provence. So these grapes are typically these rosés are typically made with Grenache and Cinsault. The smells and tastes you can expect from wines from this region are melon, peach, red currant, grapefruit, mango, and mandarin. Anyway, those are some of the basics of rosé. I believe the biggest takeaway would be just because a bottle of pink wine doesn't say rosé on it, doesn't mean that it is not actually a rosé. This is Mark, your Madison Cork Dork. Join me tomorrow at 3 o'clock while I'll discuss what is known as the other Cabernet. Thank you for watching.